Hey everyone, how's it going? It's SkullMountainFanboy here. So, today I'm going to be doing an underrated rides and overrated rides video on Six Flags Great Adventure. So, Six Flags Great Adventure is my home park. You might be able to tell from my username and my profile picture, but I think that I'm going to have some different opinions than a lot of people because I've been to this park so many times, and if you have been to a park a lot of times and you've ridden a lot of the rides, you start to formulate opinions that are different from other people, and you start to think about the rides a little bit too much. And so that's why I'm going to have some controversial opinions. But remember guys, I'm going to be doing 3 underrated rides, 3 overrated rides, and before I start the video, make sure to leave a comment if you have any ideas for any of the parks I should do. But remember, I have to go to the parks, because if I don't, then it would be unfair. So, first ride is Nitro. So, Nitro is an interesting ride, and a lot of people have like different opinions. Some people either hate this ride, and then there are other people that think that this ride is underrated, and I have one of the people that thinks that this ride is underrated. So first of all, people say that it has no airtime. Not true. This ride has a lot of airtime, especially if you ride it later in the day. If you ride it around sunset, then you will get great views, and the ride will be running faster than usual, and it will feel faster because it's darker outside. So yeah, this ride is actually full of airtime. So next thing that people say is that it is forceless. It isn't forceless. That helix before the mid-course brake run, that is a really intense moment, especially for a B&M. It's super intense. So no, this ride is not forceless. And also, people don't hate on the drop on this ride, but people also don't really talk about the drop. That drop is my single favorite drop on any roller coaster. And keep in mind that I've ridden El Toro, I've ridden Millennium Force, I've ridden so many great drops, and Nitro still has my favorite drop because it just feels like you're free falling. Now, I just need to say I have not ridden any other B&M Hypers, so this might be a weaker B&M Hyper, but that doesn't mean that this ride is bad. And also, this is in the same park as airtime machines like El Toro and Skull Mountain, so, you know, this ride is going to be hated on because, you know, the airtime doesn't really compare to those rides. Alright, next ride is Kingda Ka. Kingda Ka is like one of the more hated on coasters in the coaster community, and that's because it's the sister coaster of Top Thrill Dragster, and Top Thrill Dragster is supposedly better. I disagree. I think that Top Thrill Dragster is overrated. Kingda Ka is longer, faster launch, it's taller, and yeah, Kingda Ka isn't much faster or much taller, but I feel the difference, and also it has that airtime hill in the end that I really love. So, why is this ride underrated? So, this ride does not hurt as much as people say. People say that this ride is super painful, or not super painful, but they say it's painful. I don't think it's painful. It's not smooth, but it's not painful, and it has a really big rattle. Like I just said, it's not smooth, but the rattle doesn't hurt that much. So there are rides where the rattle is really painful, like Corkscrew at Cedar Point or Rougarou at Cedar Point. No, this ride is not painful, okay? You might hit yourself on the restraints, especially because they're over-the-shoulder restraints, but the reason why I like the rattle on this ride, I like the rattle, and the reason why I like it is because it feels like a rocket is taking off. You're shaking all over the place. You're going super fast. The wind's all in your face, and it feels like you're gonna fly off the track. But I love that. So I think that it really adds to the experience that it has a huge rattle. And gotta be honest, I think that this is one of my favorite roller coasters. It's better than Top Thrill Dragster in my opinion, and this ride is not boring because of that rattle. So, and the next underrated ride and the last underrated ride, Skull Mountain. I shouldn't even have to explain this ride. I am SkullMountainFanboy after all. Just look at my comments on Canada Coaster Fans videos and you'll get why it's underrated. Alright, now I'm going to moving on to the overrated rides. So, the first overrated ride is Green Lantern. So, not that people like this ride, but people say that it isn't that bad, and I disagree. This ride is really shaky, especially on my last ride that I got. It's like headbanging central. It's almost as bad as some of those arrows. So you get a lot of headbanging on this ride, and I think they made it too forceful. They should have made it a little bit more forceless, and I really shouldn't be complaining about it being too intense, but the fact that it's a stand-up coaster really hurts your legs, because if this ride pulls 3 Gs, that means your legs are undergoing 3 times the weight that they're used to. So this ride is obviously going to be painful because it's just so intense. There's a lot of like heat turns on this ride and corkscrews that are like really intense. And again, I shouldn't be complaining about that, but I am because this is a stand-up coaster. Alright, next ride is Joker. So Joker, I think Joker's overrated. It's not like people like this ride too much. Or not everyone likes this ride. A lot of people do like this ride. They think it's like a really great ride. And I see where they're coming from. This isn't a rough ride. It's really smooth. But the reason why I don't like this ride is because, actually I have a lot of reasons. One, it's too short. The fact that this ride is so short makes it feel like you're just kind of like spinning around for a few seconds. Which I'm not a big fan of. But also, another issue with this ride is that you either spin too much or not enough. And so, what I mean by too much is you're just spinning, like, non-stop. And that's not too fun. At least for me, it isn't, because you're really just getting dizzy, and you can't really enjoy the ride. You can't really look at where you're going, because you're just spinning, and spinning, and spinning. And also, not enough. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're just not spinning. You might do one full flip, but, like, that's not fun either, because it's basically doing nothing. And I heard a rumor that the Joker Great Adventure was made wrong, and I believe that because this ride is really awkward, and that's why I don't like it too much. But also, this ride feels like a flat ride, and it's a roller coaster, and I really don't want a roller coaster to feel like a flat ride. If I wanted to ride a flat ride, I would just go ride one. It would be a shorter line, and also this ride is terrible capacity. That's why it always has a long line. So I would just go ride a flat ride if I really wanted to ride one. But I would wait in the 30-minute line to ride a roller coaster that feels like a flat ride. So that's why I'm not a big fan of this ride. And I respect people's opinions when they say that this ride is great. And I see why, but I'm just not a big fan of this ride. And the final overrated ride. This is going to be the most controversial listing on this whole list. And if you do not agree with my opinion, do not comment that you don't agree with my opinion, okay? Because I think that this following ride is talked about in ways that it shouldn't be talked about. Alright, so this ride is El Toro. So, again, you guys are going to be pretty mad at me for this. And the reason why I think that this ride is overrated is not because it's not a good ride, because I think this ride is awesome. I think that this ride is, like, definitely an elite coaster. It's in my top 3. And it's just an amazing, amazing ride. And not to mention it's a wooden coaster. Wooden coasters usually aren't as good as this ride is. But my issue with this ride is that everyone says it's so smooth, and it's not that smooth, okay? This ride has barely any padding on the seats. And because it's a wooden coaster, like, it's going to have some imperfections in the track. And I don't know how often this ride gets retracked, but it's pretty painful. In, like, some of the more intense moments, like the final turns at the end, you're really getting shaken around, and it hurts, unlike Hindeka, because the seats are not too comfortable. They're not uncomfortable, but they don't have a lot of padding. So, you're going to feel every bump. It's just going to hurt. Not that this ride, I can't hate on this ride in any other way. Like, this ride has great airtime. It's super forceful and intense. Great drop. Fast lift hill. Like, there's nothing else I can complain about. But it's just this ride is painful. And everyone says it's silky smooth. It's, like, smoother than a lot of steel coasters. No, it's not true. Maybe in like 2015 it was fine. But I rode this for the first time in 2016. It was fine then. But in the past, like, 2 years, this ride has gotten really shaky and painful. So, that's why I think that this ride is overrated. And that's the end of my video. So, thanks for watching this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, again, leave them in the comments. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.